I'm 65. And so I would say that the gender expectations, the social expectations for girls and boys were fairly well defined at the time. And I noticed that Mama Kay said that she's still a tomboy as an adult. Well, that was a word that was bandied around a lot about me, was that I was a tomboy. And in French, the word is garçon manqué, which basically means should have been a guy, or taken differently, a guy with something missing. And so my mom called me this, my brothers called me this, everybody called me this, just because I seem to enjoy guy things a lot more than girl things. And that just continued all the way I was growing up. I love science. I love going out into the bush and doing some geology, searching for, I was in Sudbury, so I was always searching for precious stuff. I would, fight with my brothers, learn to box. I would do all kinds of things and think and enjoy them. But I knew that I wasn't being a girl when I did them. I knew I wasn't being like other girls who wanted to look pretty and play with dolls and talk a lot. And this made me really wish I was a boy. And so the next best thing to wishing you're a boy when you're a kid is you ask your dad, can you cut my hair like you cut my brothers? And when I asked my dad this, he got pretty upset. He got pretty, oh, gee, what am I going to do? And my mom came along because she was a little bit like me as a child, okay? And she said, don't worry. She'll grow into her identity. Just let her be. And I still remember her saying that. Because then my dad, he didn't give me the brush cut I wanted, but he cut it pretty short. And the other thing my dad did was he let me discover the things I was interested in. Like every time we worked on the car, he'd let me come and help and he'd explain how everything worked. If he was doing work on the house, renovations, he'd let me learn how to use all the tools and learn how to make cement and how to use a hammer. And so my dad let me be who I was. School was a little different, School, at the time you had to wear a uniform and girls had to wear, a jumper, which is kind of like a dress. And so I would wear the jumper, but I'd always wear either shorts or pants underneath it because I didn't want clothes stopping me from doing the things I wanted. And I really hated having to be limited by clothing that wasn't suitable for jumping and playing and hanging upside down on monkey bars. So I was a guy in my head. I liked being around guys. I liked playing like guys. I liked doing things that guys did. But of course, physically, I wasn't a guy. So that's my childhood, is like getting to know a few girls, realizing there's not much we like to do in common, and hanging around boys more than girls, and really enjoying sports and trying to be better than my brothers. And often as a child, you can be, by the way. As a child, there's really not much separating us physically in terms of capacities. So that's my childhood.
Especially since you were older. Like you could boss them around at that point.
Well, I would even take them into the bush. I mean, I lost them once. I took them up into the bush.
Intentionally?
And we went so far away that I really didn't know how to get back.
Okay.
And so I said, we're going to have to go up onto the highest hills we can find our house again. So, I mean, I knew how to get back home, right? I mean,
Good thinking.
I was about 5. So they were pretty small, 4 and 3. So, like I said, we had a lot of freedom in the home. It was more society around us. And a little later, there's a lot of freedom as a child, but then comes puberty. And that's when things really become difficult for those of us who aren't too thrilled with being a girl.